a way of postponing the election to the 18th of March. And at the end of the day, we end up having that gubernatorial and State House of Assembly election. How has it been? What are the things to learn? What are the things to look out for? These are some of the things that we'll be extracting and dissecting today on The Nation Today. Yes, I have a guest with me. He's a political analyst, someone that I really admire when it comes to dissecting issues concerning politics. Have with me in the studio this wonderful morning, Kazim Raji, also known as Hafkas. You're welcome to this Nation Today this morning.
Thank you for having me this morning.
All right, let's talk about, let's start with, because in Osun State, we did not have a gubernatorial election. We only had the State House of Assembly election. Looking at the State House of Assembly election that was held in Osun State. Let's start with Osun State this time around. How was it? What's your own assessment?
Good morning, viewers at home. The assessment as regards Osun State House of Assembly, it is a game changer because it shows the level at which the Nigerians are now listening, because Nigerians are waking up. So from the party influences or party consideration to the personality, also people vote for the personalities, not the party. So, and that same scenarios occur across Nigerians in the previous election. I'm very happy the turnout of the people to vote for their ways, to vote for their right choices. So these scenarios shows that every contestant, every aspirant, those who are still aiming to come to the corridor of power need to work assiduously, need to go and penetrate to the grassroots and to do their homework in such a way they will be able to convince the mind of the people positively. And not just winning the election, the credibility. Because when the people are tired of any administration, when the people are frustrated, they will be frustrated to go en masse to flush out that administration that is not to their choice. So everybody is waking up, like I said, that how do we make a credible candidate to represent our destiny? So we shouldn't be messing up our destiny anymore. So that gives also people, as a result of electronic systems that we are now using, so to have their choice of candidates. So, you know, the rigging that ever in the history is now becoming an history.
A thing of the past.
Yes, thing of past. So now, because the electronic system that now we are using, it helps our election to be more matured than, I think, in 13th century, when we are using analog system, where manipulation and doctoring of the election results were more easier. So at this juncture, I am happy for the system, general development, apart from also. So we are improving. We are getting it right a little bit. If at all, everything is not perfect, but at least we are going.
We're getting there.
We are getting better.
All right. You mentioned something just now when you were making your opening. You talked about the electorate. You talked about erasing, even almost completely rigging. let's take it one after the other now. And let's first talk about the electorates. Let's compare and contrast. Looking at the presidential and the National Assembly election, we saw lots of people coming out to vote. But looking at the State House of Assembly, there are lots of complaint of voter apathy. What's your own assessment on that?
Thank you. The problem Nigerian Nigerian system of governance, right from the bottom, is that we don't have regards for the law. Now, that gives a rebut to what we are having, presidential election and National Assembly election. The reason why there was a kind of apathy in the National Assembly election was that
the State House of Assembly,
the State House of Assembly election was that actually the notion the people have for the conduct of the presidential election that seems to have, when the INEC seems to have failed Nigeria in some areas. Because the failure is this: the promises of the INEC that immediately the election, and they are going to transmit the results electronically and uploading the results. So there was nothing of such resulting to the manual presentation of the results. So Nigerians were a little bit, the voters were a little bit down as a result of that. Though, like I said, the INEC was trying to say that the SAFA was a problem at a point, and at the collation center, the voters were presumed to have seen the results on the central portal of the INEC, and that was not the case as at that time. So in that respect, many voters to come members for the State Assembly, and the State Assembly, they were a little bit discouraged that, instead of they let me sleep at home, it's based on their will they give the results. That is why many voters were still at home then.
All right, let's talk about, I said we'll take it one after the other. Looking at the State House of Assembly election, was held on the 18th of this month. Some school of thought said that maybe because of the 1 week extension was the reason why the beavers and even transmitting result electronic was able to be done, especially during the State House of Assembly and the gubernatorial and some other states. What's your own view on that?
From the side of the INEC, there was a prayer. There was a prayer on the INEC postponing the election, that it was slated, it was shifted for a week, for another week. So that one is even part of it, whereby many voters have said do their movements. But the INEC was saying that they want to make some amendments and correction in terms of logistics, in terms of digital problem, to correct the anomalies or irregularities that occurred during the presidential election. So that was the complaints from the side of the INEC, so that they will make a kind of amendment so that they will be able to have a credible election for the State House of Assembly, so that the people will not be continue giving a further complaint. But let's be candid and be justified with the scenario in Nigerian political system. You know, there are a lot of manipulation, to be candid. There are a lot of irregularities. Though, from my own home, the election is a failure. I will not subscribe to that.
So what will you say?
The reason why I wouldn't say that is the level of improvement that we have been having. So we couldn't be able to condemn the process as a failure. So if we recall in the past to the electronics system, BFAS, that introduced since 2021 till date, you can see the level of rigging is coming down, whereby the godfatherism are being rendered useless. They are getting, the godfatherism is getting reduced in the system. But the only problem that we still have with this is the anachronistic systems of our headers, the political class, in the sense that the governors, the presidency, where they take law for their hands, irrespective what the law or the due process says. So the law is, we don't, until we have law-abiding leaders, we get to our reasonable track. Because most of our leaders, when they get to the power, so they take law for their hand. They take law for granted. They don't respect the law. For instance, when there is a failure or there is any irregularity or discrepancies in the election result, the last hope for the contendant is to seek for litigation. So when everything is manipulated, where you ought to have got reasonable result at the right time, and you head to the litigation, and those who are in the litigation, those harms have already been pocketed by the executive. That is where our hopes or the voters' hope have been down. The hopes are being scattered because in the litigation corridor, they don't have the final say sometimes. There are kind of influences that being used because of the judiciary autonomy that we are clamoring for. The judiciary in Nigeria is not autonomous. That's the major problem. So that is why the INEC as institution should get the conduct of election in a way the Nigerian expected, and in a way the INEC promised Nigerians. Why should we head all our elections controversy, our elections outcome to the litigation as a final result? Instead of the INEC to conduct credible election, which is the hope of the electorate, that the system that we introduce will not allow rigging, will not allow manipulation. At the end of the day, because of interior motives from side of the political class influencing the INEC official, when voting by is no more order of the day. Now, influencing the official and making a complaints that there is a electronics errors, there is a server problem. Another problem is this. You know, the BVAS is to register the voters.
Oh, yes.
At the same time, BVAS is to accredit the voters. Now, the presiding officer will have the figures from the BVAS machine to the resort seats. Manipulation can be done through that. While recording, because if the presiding officer have what is differ from what is in the content of the machine, so from to the resort seat, that is why INEC promising that 176 polling units that we have across the nation, they will immediately upload the result and transmit the result of the election. But that, the reverse happened to be the case in some cases. Now, the reason why I'm saying, from my humble opinion, is that introduction of BVAS will help Nigerians to have further credible election. You know, we have been getting it a little bit right. If we compare the analog system that we were operating before, whereby a person, a voter, can have like 50 voters cards and easily using each of the voters card to vote. That was not the case again. It's not possible again. And the card reader is also helpful for the system.
But that's, I think the card reader, the BVAS is an upgrade of the card reader. And so definitely they are done with the card reader. We are in the BVAS regime.
And we are, we are in BVAS regime. You know, the card readers that graduate into the BVAS, you know, scanning the photos, by the time you even got to the litigation, all the the registrations, the configurations, and that has been done by the BVAS, and all the materials will be examined. And the examination of all that has even, because the BVAS itself cannot be doctored, cannot be manipulated itself. But the manipulation can only be done from the BVAS to the resort seats. That's where the problem comes. And it's only presiding officer that has access to the BVAS. You get it, right?
Yes, I do.
It's only, and the presiding officer will bring the total figure in the BVAS to the resort seats. So we are getting it better. And we cannot say that our election was a failure, like I said. But the areas that Nigerians should concentrate are, how do we elect credible and patriotic and God-fearing leaders or God-fearing representatives? Because we don't expect the angel to come and rule us. Everybody is the product of the society. Those who are canvassing, those who are struggling to be in the corridor of power, are they in the interest of the masses, the citizen, or because of their own personal interests? You see, Nigerian political system has been grossly monetized. Monetization of politics in Nigeria gave birth to all these struggles, to all these do or die affair. So if you can see the amount of the money that is being allowances that is being given to the National Assemblies, I mean the senators and the House of Representative members, comparing to the gross amount being paid to the civil servant in a state, you will see that Nigerians will still continue to struggle at all costs and to bring down who want to cross their line, who want to block them, to bring them down. That is why you are having scenario whereby, I think at Enugu, 3 days to the election, one of the candidates was terminated and was assassinated. And for what reason? It is because of the monetary objective. So until the take home of a senators at a month is 30 million naira, over 600 million in a single terms, and a